Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing this video primarily for myself, so I can occasionally go back and watch it and listen to the advice that I am giving myself. But this may apply to a lot of you out there as well. Now, you have to forgive me. I jotted down some notes here off to the side because I want to make sure that I don't forget anything that I want to say. Occasionally, as I watch other YouTubers' videos with them showing off their collections and their pickups, I sometimes get jealous of the impressive collections that a lot of you out there have. And jealousy is a very powerful emotion. I try not to be jealous in my everyday life, but I think it's a normal human emotion to compare what we may have or can do to others and what they may have or can do, or various things with their life, their financial status, you name it, their golf game. You know, anything is out there where we tend to compare ourselves to others. But what I need to do is become less jealous of a lot of your collections out there. Another thing that occasionally happens to me is that sometimes I feel that I don't quite fit into the vintage community within YouTube. And a lot of the people that I have met, the friends that I have made, a lot of them either primarily collect vintage, or vintage is a large part of their overall collection. Now, for me, I've only really been collecting vintage baseball cards for almost 5 years now. And there are a lot of you out there who have been collecting vintage cards for 10, 15, 20 years, maybe even more. And over that long period of time, you've been able to build very impressive and extensive collections. And a lot of you bought into those, or bought those cards in a period where they were a lot less expensive than they are today. I started building my vintage collection right at the start of the COVID boom. And a lot of you who have all these impressive cards may have picked them up 10, 15, 20 years ago at a fraction of the cost that they are today. And so that sometimes weighs on my mind of that, you know, I'm a small little fish in an ocean, that, you know, I'm swimming around and there are all these big fish and sharks and whales out there, and that I don't quite belong. But again, that's another emotion that I need to set off to the side and not worry about everyone out there and how long they've been able to collect and the cards that they've been able to acquire and add to their collection. And to that similar point, I sometimes get the feeling that I'm never going to be able to catch up to all those collectors out there who have been collecting for 10, 15, 20 years, that my collection will somehow never get to the point that they are, that I'm so far behind that I'm always going to be playing catch up, that the cards I acquire are ones that most everyone else already has. Oh yeah, I picked that card up 15 years ago or 10 years ago, and now I'm just getting to add it to my collection. And so that sometimes weighs on my mind. And again, the purpose of this video is, I don't want any of you, I'm not looking for sympathy or anything. This is my way to just get my thoughts out and sort of tell myself that all of these different things that periodically I think about when I'm talking to others about their collections or watching videos, that I need to be happy for them, appreciate their collections, but don't let that reflect on my collection and what I've been able to do over the last 5 years. And what I did as sort of some information or some background for this video, last week I posted a poll on my YouTube channel, and I asked everyone, on average, how much do you spend on cards per month? And I got 82 responses to that poll question. So thank you to all of you who took the time to answer the question in that poll. And as I was putting the poll together, I had a sense of what the general responses would be. So there were 4 choices in terms of how much you are able to spend on average on sports cards per month. And the largest percentage of the responses were that you were able to afford or spend $101 to $250 per month on your hobby, on the hobby sports cards. 26% of you, the next lowest, was $251 to $500 per month. The next lowest was less than $100. 23% of the respondents said that on average, they're only able to spend less than $100 per month. And then finally, 18% of you said that you are fortunate enough to be able to spend more than $500 a month on sports cards. And that's a lot of money, at least for me, to be able to spend in this great hobby. And I currently fall on most months in that third category, that third lowest category of less than $100 per month. Now, hopefully my situation will change in the future, but for now, that's really my budget that I have to spend on cards. So again, that goes back to my thinking of, man, if I can only spend $50, $75 a month on, say, vintage baseball cards, I'm not going to be able to afford some of these $200, $300, $400, $500 cards, $1,000 cards, or whatever. These really impressive, rare key rookie cards, all that stuff, and be able to afford to add them to my collection. The only time I'm really able to buy some bigger cards for my collection is at the National. And the only reason why I'm able to spend the money that I do at the National is that I save over the entire year to be able to spend that type of money at the National. I don't have that amount of money to spend even close on a monthly budget. Now, I could say, hey, rather than put aside some money every month for the National, I could take that money and buy cards, bigger cards for my collection over the entire year. But then I would have very little, if anything, to take to the National. And I so enjoy going to the National, getting to hang out with all my friends, just check out the amazing cards that all the dealers have. And so for me to go through all that time and expense of hotels and all that stuff, to only be able to have maybe a couple $100 to spend on cards, to me isn't worth it. So I'm sort of foregoing the month by month purchases and setting aside as much as I can to save up for the National, where I can have fun and sort of feel part of everyone and picking up some great cards. And I have been fortunate to be able to pick up at some of these Nationals some really, really nice cards for my collection. And I am very thankful for my ability to do that. But with saving up for the National, that leaves even less on a monthly basis for me to buy vintage cards to add them to my collection. Plus, I occasionally buy some Wade Boggs cards for my collection. So I have dual focuses in my collection. So sometimes I decide to spend some money on Wade Boggs cards, which of course depletes the amount of money that I can build my vintage collection. And my ultimate goal is to continue slowly building and continue to build my Wade Boggs collection, but I really want to focus on building a really nice vintage collection. So the last thing that I sometimes feel, which again, I need to tell myself to ignore or push away, is that sometimes I get the feeling that even the collection that I have been able to build up over the last 5 years is just not as good as other collections out there. Again, I sometimes view what I have and compare that to what others have and say, well, okay, I have about 400, roughly 400 graded vintage cards in my collection, but a lot of them are probably cards that are like maybe $20, $40, $50, maybe a few that are $100, and then once you start getting up to the $200, $300, $400 cards, there's a lot fewer of them. And for example, I don't own any. I don't have any Jackie Robinson cards yet in my collection. I don't have any, Ty Cobbs, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig's. I don't have a lot of the big rookie cards, the Roberto Clemente, the Sandy Koufax, the Hank Aaron yet. Maybe, crossing my fingers, maybe this will be the year that I can add a Hank Aaron rookie card to my collection. But that's like one card every year. Now, knock on wood, hopefully I'll be able to enjoy this hobby and can add cards to my collection for 20, maybe even 30 years, who knows. So that's still a lot of time, but still, if I'm only able to maybe pick up a quote unquote big card one time a year, that's only like 20, 25, maybe at the most, if I'm lucky, 30 cards. Now, again, I'm basing that on my current financial situation. Who knows what the future holds? Hopefully, I will be in a much better position to increase my monthly budget and to add more cards and if you want to say nicer cards to my collection, I may have the ability to do more of that in the future. But with all that said, and the thing that I want to impress to me as I watch this video in the future and to you who are watching this, I like the cards that I have in my collection. All right. And I like the collection that I've been able to build over these last 5 years, given the limited funds I have. So I want to appreciate, and I do appreciate, the cards that I have and the collection that I've been able to build, knowing that I can't spend $500 to $1,000 a month on cards. Would I like to? Absolutely. But I can't. So within my limitations, I need to step back, look at my cards, look at my collection, and appreciate what I have and not get depressed and compare my collection to others. Because it's not what others have in their collection or how much money others can spend on their collection or what cards I may never, ever be able to afford. I need to appreciate what I have and the collection that I've been able to build and push away any sense of jealousy and enjoy and be happy for all of you out there who may have bigger cards or more impressive collection that I do, and just be as excited as you are when you show off your latest pickups or show off these cards that you are so grateful to have in your collection. And I think all of you do have a sense of gratefulness that you are in the position that you are able to have certain cards in your collection. I think most of us, in fact, probably all of us, don't do these videos to brag, to show off, to say, look what I have that many of you don't have. I don't get the sense of that at all in this community. We're all one big community. We're all friends. We all take enjoyment at others picking up great cards. And that's the positive focus that I want to have, that I admit sometimes I stray away from, but have to pull myself back in. So to finish things off, I need to keep telling myself, my vintage collection is good enough. It's special enough. And doggone it, I really like it. So with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.